What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a little bit since I put up a video. I've been slacking there, sorry guys. As always, before I get into this, if you like this video, please subscribe, share, leave a comment, buy a t-shirt, whatever you want to do, guys. Subscribing's free, doesn't cost you nothing, so subscribe if you haven't already. But today we're doing some YXZ stuff. So how do I start this? The YXZs have a lot of suspension problems. There will be suspension guys that'll chime in. I'm sure I'm going to say a couple of wrong things, but for the most part, I think I have it remembered, kind of the issues they have. So first off, the rear springs on these are way oversprung. The spring rate's way too heavy from the factory. I can't remember what it was. I think it was 300 something pounds spring rate. So what that does is you'll notice a lot of YXZs. If you ever see YXZs that are jumping and stuff, a lot of them you'll see a little nosedive as soon as they come over hills. A lot of the problem is the jump itself, but the fact that it's oversprung wants to kick that back end up every time you hit a bump. So the way around that is, a lot of guys, what they do and what I've done to help is I've got a set of dual rate springs back here, different spring ratio, a little bit softer. That helps with the bucking of the back end kicking up all the time, but it doesn't really fix the problem completely. It helps, it sure does help, but it doesn't fix it. Another problem is the front springs are undersprung, so when you come out of corners and stuff, it tends to want to dive. So a solution that people were doing for a while was they'd take the back springs, take the front springs, and they'd swap them. Because like I said, the back's oversprung, the front's undersprung. Swap it. You have to actually compress the rear springs to fit on the front shocks because they're a little longer. Also kind of a band-aid. I've heard it works-ish, but you know, it helps. Everything helps, but doesn't fix it. Another issue with the YXZ is the wheelbase it's just not long enough to handle heavy hits like that, whooped out sections. The wheelbase isn't there. So a lot of guys that make the long travel kits, you add, you know, 3.5 inches of wheelbase, whatever they're at now. There's a few kits out there, so I don't know the specifics. And that's the way to go. Honestly, the long travel seems to be pretty sweet, but I'm cheap and I didn't want to buy a long travel. So the other solution that helps is what we're going to be installing today is a front shock relocation bracket. Sorry, it's all dirty. I bought it used because, once again, like I said, I'm cheap. But what that does is it'll mount on your shock tower here, and you'll see these bolts here are where your factory upper shock mounts will bolt to, and these outer mounts here are where they're relocated to. So the shocks will be up and out. So what that does is it actually changes the geometry of the shock. So instead of the shocks sitting like this, because that's also another problem with the YXZ, is the way the shocks are laid down. It's just not the ideal thing. The shock doesn't work as well being laid down like that as opposed to being straight up, or you know what I mean. The back is where that's a major issue. But anyways, long story short, this relocation bracket stands the shocks up a little bit more. Shocks tend to work better. It apparently helps with it kicking in the back, but we're gonna find out today. I don't know. We'll see if it really makes a difference or not. I've heard some good and I've heard some bad. One thing you guys do want to do if you are going to be buying one of these relocation brackets, now this is just my opinion, but to me it makes sense. I've seen a lot of pictures of people that install these, not this one, but other ones that don't have a support. If you see here, this lower plate, it goes under the frame rails, I believe, and it just grabs more frame, because the issue people were having with the ones that just relocate the shocks and don't have that extra support, you're actually ripping the shock tower right off the frame of the machine. It's not meant for the extra stress of that shock being farther out, right? The farther out the shock is from the original mounting point, the more stress you're putting on the frame that it's bolted to. So this added support on these ones are meant to help with that stress, and apparently I guess you don't rip the shock tower out. But anyways, enough of me talking. If you have any more questions, ask them in the comment. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong in the comments. It's all good. I'm going to put this thing on. I'm not going to film me putting it on. There's lots of videos. Well, maybe not lots, but I've seen some videos out there of how to install these shock tower brackets. So I'm going to start pulling some plastics off, and I'll probably record once it's installed before the plastics are on, just to give you a little look at what it looks like. And then we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a minute. All right, so here's the bracket fully installed. It's actually pretty nicely made. I remember when I bought it, I didn't want to buy one new because by the time you pay import fees into Canada, like, we get screwed here hard. So it's very, very expensive to get it here. This is why I bought a used one, didn't pay the big import fees. Anyways, I remember when I was buying it, I was like, man, that's a lot of money for just a bracket. But it actually is, like, it seems really well thought out, and it's pretty well made. You can't see it over video, obviously, but just when I was installing it, you know, it looks like there's a lot of thought into making this thing. Anyways, so we're going to put the plastic back on. I believe there's something I have to trim on this center plastic. I remember people saying something about it rubbing. It looks like this one has some rub marks on it, so maybe it's something there. I don't know. We'll see in a minute, and go from there. I'll probably also have to back my preload off because now with the shocks sitting farther out, I believe it actually jacks the front end a bit. Plus, I already had a bit of extra preload put on them anyway, so I think I'm gonna have to drop some preload off, but we'll do that, and then we'll be back.
24 hours later.
All right, it's the next day. I got the suspension bracket on, and then my radiator fan decided to not want to work. It was acting up the day before, yes, or 2 days ago, I guess. And I thought I'd fix it, but I didn't. So I spent the whole day after I got the suspension bracket in yesterday trying to figure out the fan, and some time today. I got it figured out. Now we're going to go out. We're going to test this thing. I don't really know how I can do like a, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for here. Like some kind of proven test to try to prove that it is better than it was before. So you're just gonna have to trust me on this. So we're gonna go drive it. There's only one little spot of trail by my house that's kind of whooped out a little bit, not the greatest, but it's literally the only thing I have within 2 hours of here. So we're gonna go to that little spot, and we'll try it out, see what happens. I have the suspension set, I think still not where I want. I took the preload off the front a bit. I think I need to take more off, but we're just gonna try it for now and see what it does. So let's go to the spot and see what happens. It's hard to explain, but it's more flat. Like I'm moving around a lot less with this now. I don't know if that's just because there's more preload because of the angles of the shock, and I might not have backed it off enough, but it feels more flat. I don't feel a crazy difference, but it does feel more flat. Let's try that again. We'll set up another camera and we'll do it again. Didn't get as much footage as I wanted because my fan stopped working again. Now you can hear it in the background working now, but having fan issues, of course. But we got a little bit of ripping in. I need a new fan. I'm trying to find little sketchy ways around it. Doesn't work. Need a new fan. Anyways, I know it's hard to tell from video. You can't tell how it feels in the machine, obviously. But it did feel a lot more planted. Like I don't really know how to explain it, but the car, it felt a lot more flat. So the bucking that I was talking about, the YXZs always have an issue with the back end kicking. The dual rate springs I did on it helped a lot. This helped even more. I'll have to drive it more in different terrains and stuff and test it more to give like a really good answer on it. But from the short little test I did, I can tell you that it is for sure better. Is it some crazy big difference? I don't know yet. But it for sure did help. Long travel kits for these are very expensive. For these machines are really expensive. So for this bracket being like 400 bucks American or whatever it is, even if it just helps a little bit, that paired with dual rates, it's worth the money, I would say. So we'll have more on this. I'm sorry I couldn't do more because of fan issues, and also because I only have so much here. That short little section of trail you saw is like literally the only spot here. Other than that, it's all flat everywhere around here. So that'll be it for now. Does it work? Yes. How good does it work? I don't know yet, but it does help. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more, let me know. If you guys have things that you want to see specifically, leave comments down below. I'm always open for suggestions. You know, it's up to you guys what you want. I'll do what you want to a certain degree. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, there will be more. And yeah, have a good day. See ya.
Hey! Subscribe to the channel.